too is a protest. When you say, come home, I know what you mean to say is stay. I can show you what peace feels like. I can give you all the war you will ever need, so stay. And convince me that heaven is 4 walls and a blood-stained fence, or maybe just this room, or maybe just this bed, so stay. There's a war outside. There's a war outside. And the whole world feels like a prison. But I have found paradise in the expanse of your thighs. I have found freedom in your lips and peace in the lullaby of your heartbeat. There's a war outside, so give them your hate. But do not let them take your love. Keep it here. And maybe tomorrow will be all over. But today is all the time we'll ever need, all the time we'll ever have, so stay. Surrender to these sheets. Lay down your armor and arsenal and let us love like death comes in the morning. And even if it doesn't, even if tomorrow we must gather our masks to die another day, then please, my love, I beg you, leave me your scars. Thank you. So this second one is called Metal, and I think the shortest explanation is it's about metal men. Would you rather be metal, strong, firm, and unbreakable? Or would you rather be cushion, soft, with feathers in your inside, yet no flight, some comfort for sitting? I do not answer hastily, for of course he is old and wise and has seen enough things to demand my attention. He carries on before I could speak. They do not make men anymore. Not strong, not firm, all breakable. I stare in the face of the ghosts that haunt me, with virgin eyes that know no tears, yet still too soft to be man of broken metal. Because metal bends too easy when the insides are empty. And morning creeps tonight for the man of steel, but I man up still. I metal up. I gather my broken metal fragments the same way as all the boys I know. It makes our masks. We do not call it masculinity for nothing, but there's nothing wrong with being broken. As long as you do not leave the pieces behind when you are moving on, but it's hard to believe sometimes. So sometimes we cry in secret. Sometimes we punch things. Sometimes we break the people that love us and use the sharp edges to cut off our Achilles heel to show we have no weakness. But this is the way of man. This is the way of metal. Be it knife, gun, man, boy. Most things unbreakable, break things too easy. Do not search in this poem for answers. Most days I still wear my armor with pride. I write eulogies in poems for all the tears uncried and all the parts of me that died. One day, when he asks me metal or cushion, I'll show him the picture of a woman and hope he realizes some metals are soft and some cushions are goddamn unbreakable. Thank you. I'll do one more. All right, I'll do the one I did yesterday because I didn't get the opportunity to actually perform it because I was sitting down, and it's called For Black Boys. I gave the summary of it yesterday, so For Black Boys. Split open the belly of black boys and watch us bleed the color of rust, a consequence of metal men crying on the inside. Split open the belly of the continent and it will bleed all the crippled reasons while the violence is sewn into the coattails of our last names. I will carry both with pride. And our sons inherit our names with closed fist. History will always repeat this is Tutsi versus Hutu. Hausa versus Igbo, Fulani, Borno Kingdom, empires like black dominoes, one collapsing the other. I do not know what this is a consequence of. Maybe soldiers never know when the war is over. making home a battleground for friendly fire. Maybe silhouettes do not make for good fathers, even if they are both black. Maybe if we swap the magnifying glass for mirrors, we'll realize the problem is us as much as it is them, and by them I mean us, and by us I mean them. I do not know what this is a consequence of, but I see the consequences of this. When two elephants fight, the broken earth lasts longer than the bruises. Your brothers will inherit this as expected. Your sisters will learn to love men that would never be good enough for them. Your girl, praying you do not bring the fire home this time. See, I hear you. You say, my niggas got my back. I understand that not a lot of people understand. And the ones that do, you have to keep them close and safe. I hear you when you say violence is the first son of poverty and privilege is the father that wasn't there. I hear you when you say black is the most invisible color in the shadows and you have to make noise in order to exist. I hear you when you say girls love boys that love girls that prove their worth in red. Prince Charming always has a conquest, lives behind a trail of bodies. Violence and masculinity are brothers in every fairy tale we've ever heard, yet we wonder where we learned it from. I hear you. When you say you don't even know why you do it, you just do it. Monkey see, monkey do, and if you've been called monkey long enough, you might as well become one. But this is not the end of our story. It's not even the start. Please open the belly of the beast and watch it bleed human. Watch it bleed strong and kind at the same time, because we are more. We are the brick and the mortar. We are the village that raised the child. We are the child and its future. We are the bone, the marrow, the flesh, the skin, the hair standing up against the wind trying to blow us down. We are the child and its future. We are more and more and more than what they say we are. We are truth. Thank you, everybody. I've been the Go-Go Heart.
Thank you. Keep the applause coming. He laid it all on the stage. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, next up, without much ado, it is my privilege to welcome a brother to the stage. His name is Elikpli Macaulay, but we call him the God of Poetry.
Hello. Togbio, Mamo, Yato, Manibanamilo. So the piece I'm performing is titled Crows in Parliament. I wrote it 10 years ago. And we still almost have the same thing playing out in our society, in Ghana and across the continent. This space, this space, this space, this space, this space, this space. space filled with clay, with refugees for a vial, not even for ritual. This space is not a country. Today grows in the murder flower, coming down in a swoop like night, singing the song of subterfuge. Dig, 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 dig their talons into the labor of the fields. With a wide bow for tie, body forest black, eating seeds before the rain. The rains will come and go, and for sure, the sun at noon would shoot, but harvest time would be eluded, because corn hubs would be peeled layer after layer for the embrace of a God. This space filled with clay, this space is not a country. Another night grows in a murder flower. This space, this space, this space, this space. Do 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 Gods of death, gods of death, and the human figure is changed. Gods of death, and as a result of this change, expressions of the human figure is changed. Gods of death and original beauty is disguised. Gods of death. Is this all the human setup can boast of? Gods of death, gods of death, gods of death. Gods of death, and someone in ignorance infest another with disease. Gods of death, and the other spreads this disease, for he has become a carcass. And there is disaster. Do 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 do. Anyway, I'm sorry for trying to expose the courts of death. Courts of death. So, I'm going to pour libation. This used to be a part of ceremony when we had state gatherings. I mean, government. Because Ghana is not, it's made up of the traditional society and other religions. But in 2012, when we had Atta Mills, this was kicked off, and since then it has not returned. So divination is also forensics. And I'm bringing this to light in the name of poetry, or to throw like, to put light on it in the name of poetry. That in the name of language, our minds have been reduced and our spirits the same, and we think so little of ourselves. But if you watch movies or you go into the art of forensics or the science of it, you can see there is some form of divination in there. So I'm just bringing this to light so that those of you, or as part of the decolonizing process. Yeah. Mauga Sobolisa. Kitikata Maumoyo. Mau Adangto. Yolo. Mamayo. Togwizio. Muyomi. O togbe atali, togbe gati, togbe akoli, muyomi bitipio. Gbogbo ele gana tukọ kplɔ me yɔ akpɔ teƒe ne mi gbie be piedza literary festival ye mi le dikem be ne miawɔe ne wòanyɔ ɖe wòade deƒe ne wòadze fie to wòadze gawo to akpelo edze gɔme tso fa le gbe ye mi va ɖo egbea nuwɔƒe ne yi dzi miakpɔ eta nɛ lo. Togbe Shimono, togbe Gati, togbe Bekli me biecho. Kana gbe jokuto kwa hapo. Togbe me yo lo. Togbe amu me yo. Togbe ate me yo. O togbe bubu ya age kitibosu mayo lo. Mayo. Chapata mayo. Mayo mi lo mi pon tefene mi. Imagine ko. Imagine ko lo. Imagine ko. Nyankie. Nye koku gete klebe. Nyankie. Abe egle. Ejotota. Joti afodekaya mekpona megbe. Ube ya ukemone. Ube ya olafone. Bene koku megayi. Amega koku megayi. Ube ya uho gbogbolesi. Ube ya oble. Kake avato koku nyom. Avato koku tuka. Nyengie. Ati dekaya tonaya. Nyengie. Yen dusime. Yemesime viviti. Yen dusime akane. Yejimeko. Obia kutake. Wole nyekpom gake omekpom. Zidomado. Amaga hokola betozi. Nyankie. Nye koku kete klebe. Nudele Pamelo. Aziza le Pamelo. Nudele Pame. Nudele Pame. Nudele Pame. Eto Vamidoku. Glankie. Ake. Lahamalangu. Atuhamalantiu. Abiamu. Magbago. Nyankie. Nyankie. Nye koku kete klebe. Koku kete klebe. Atidekaya tonaya. Magbago. Nyankie. Nyankie. Nudele Pame. Nudele Pame. Nudele Pamelo. Aziza le Pamelo. Nudele Pame. Nedo. So I'm saying something else in addition to this piece. When we speak of the ancestors in this age, I think we see ourselves far removed from them, but in actuality we are extensions of them. And in that decolonizing effort, who are the ancestors? They are the inventors of the language we speak, the mediums we use in our traditional setting, as Ghanaians. And in that sense, I've used the Ewe language in my performance as architecture, because these ancestors also need a medium, a place to live. Unfortunately, most of the things that are supposed to be preserved as buildings, shrines, and all the other things have been erased, and currently we're still breaking down some of these buildings without paying much attention. When Stefania was here, she made mention of the fact that in Europe, those things are actually really taken care of. And like you can actually access those memories. Unfortunately for us, we destroy them, or we don't actually take our minds there to have that click with ourselves. And I want to say that there is no way we are going to develop as a nation if we don't look at who we are, the people that we are, and rediscover ourselves in terms of identity, in terms of our values. And in this very age, we are fast losing that, looking at technology and westernization, how it's fast depleting our cultures, the minds, everything, like in the bubble right now. So I'm just standing here presenting this to you. Thank you.
I think you can do better than that. You've just experienced a whole lot of a traditional magic up there. It's the beauty of spirit and soul. Round of applause for it. The God of poetry. Thank you, Ellie. Next up, we have a young man who goes by the name Jewel King. And when he gets on stage, we say Jewel King speaks. Now, Joel is a young Ghanaian poet, and he's already a multiple award-winning slammer, nationally and internationally. And he's been giving us a lot of glory in the poetry space and really defined a new generation of young poets in Ghana and on the continent. So a round of applause for Jewel.
Jewel is my name. I heard you need change, but the symphony sings that it seems funny how I am an athlete yet running for presidency. So most of you do not believe that I've got good motives for this country, but check this. My manifesto. My manifesto is to give you the manifesto, keep you on your toes. For the king's promise, it is one car, one road, one student, one classroom, one fisherman, one sea. See, the goal is to invest in every energy drink we've got in the country. I'm power drunk, believe me. Billy, like the avatar, my obsession to grab power is in my blue jeans like denim. I'm in a rush to run for power not because there is a huge storm coming. But I've realized that as Ghanaians, yet it's cash now, so I'll come the end. And that's the reason. My aim is to evenly share the national cake so that every citizen gets a piece of this cake to celebrate their birthdays. My interest is not to protect the public purse, instead open up the purse to the public so that everyone gets some monies for themselves and families. In ancient Greek, democracy is defined as a system of governance where state power is vested in the people. So give me your terms in exchange for blue jeans, because literally that's real power to the people. So give me your terms in exchange for blue jeans so that y'all do not walk around like the naked truth. The naked truth needs to be addressed before someone discovers this truth. Fellow Ghanaians, I know say sake of money your son Kwame never go Eugene. The kiddie get dreams, now so only links in tea when two man reach in the goals. Sake of you not get the money first, he was sacked out of school. So young Kwame Eugene turned the school dropout. This is one of the many problems you are facing in the country. Reason I'm introducing the free senior high school education, and mark my words, universities will soon be free in this nation. I've seen your tears and heard your cries. As citizens, I believe the police is supposed to protect us, but protest after protest, they keep making unlawful arrests, so we've realized they aren't here to protect us, and the average Ghanaian can't even afford a condom to protect us. Reason being that the economy is harder than an erection, and though the economy is harder than an erection, the wives of fishermen never they see men. If you see Phyllis, you go know say we are always going for AIDS. So the country is always in debt. When I'm voted into power, I'll make sure I pay off all our debts. I'll make sure I pay off all our debts so that we'll be eligible for more loans. Yo. The average Ghanaian is broken than the broken rice, yet our politicians use 30 billion for tea, common breakfast, whilst the citizens fast, not because they want to fast, but because they don't have money for common breakfast. How do we break this fast? Fast forward. We live in the capital, but the capital doesn't reflect in our pockets. The capital is actually in Kumasi. That's where the gold is found. These politicians are gold diggers, always digging for gold. And those in Galamsey behind closed doors, while they close doors of opportunities on us, the citizens, for agriculture, they invest in guinea fowls. But these fowls end up being possessed by foul spirits and end up flying into our neighboring countries. Without passports, these fowls passports, which is a foul ball between Ghana and Guinea, but the referee won't whistle in our favor because he has been bribed. The country is a mess. Reason most of us are slim but fat when it comes to our butts, but it's just right we ask the government to drop that chamber because we've all got closets in our various homes. I mean, we are all dealing with our personal shit, respectfully. Because $58 million for the National Cathedral, as it stands imaginary with no foundation, and an incomplete swimming pool, putting a hold on baptism. So no wonder there are a lot of unrepented folks in government. I meant, we live in a place where workers do not get paid, but we plan on paying the wives of government officials. Salaries remain the same, but taxes keep rising. Transport fares keep changing by the day like Kathleen Jenner, yet our politicians aren't transparent. And our policemen are involved in bullion van robberies. You see, in physics, force is a push or a pull. But in Ghana, as we push forward, the pull is backwards. The new force. I know after this poem, they will try to make an arrest just to lock us. But in this hood, we know who do the real robbing. Apple of God's eyes, we will jailbreak for this revolution must be televised. free the citizens.
Joel King speaks, and he has spoken. I think we can do better for Joel King. Talk about speaking truth to power. Ladies and gentlemen, this next performance is very special. It's not going to be live in the sense that we'll have the characters and the actors and the poet be on the stage, but it'll be live in the sense that it's been digitalized, and so we're going to watch it. However, there's a gentleman who is more or less a godfather of poetry in Ghana, in Africa, one of our most celebrated post-colonial poets, Professor Kofi Anidoho. And he is very much involved in what we're about to watch. So I'm going to ask him to say a few words before we watch it. Round of applause for Prof.
Not too long ago, we lost one of our brothers, a lawyer, a human rights activist. His friends called him Sheshe, lawyer Akoto Ampao. There was a special ceremony planned for him at the National Theatre, and I was requested by the organizer, Mr. Akunu Dake, to do a tribute performance. Unfortunately, I was traveling. I was to do it in collaboration with the National Dance Company. I was traveling, so I recorded my part, which was given to the National Dance Company. Being who they are, professional to the core, they listened to the voice recording and made magic with it. You will see a bit of it on the screen. Thank you.
Afike mato ogbanya dadi na mai. O mapona kukuga koko afike mato ogbanya dadi na mai. Ame mako miyo na mwe miyo sheshe na mulo miyo na mulo. Afike mato ogbanya dadi na mai obona kuga miyo na mwe miyo na mulo amake mako ogbanya dadi na mai obona jojoga
and invocation. They caught my voice, gave it to guardians of the night, set a trap for my soul, and I had to rise to sudden call of death. Aonalu, anale,
Recording stopped.
Enale, Ulagbanye, Shona Zatoe.
And then when I finish,
Oh, Nalu, Enale, Amadele, Shona Zatoe. Enale, Ulagbanye, Shona Zatoe. Shesheba kusi memilalu, miwe blami. Shesheba kusi memilalu, miwe blami Joanna choza gbaja pure via ga chozando. Sina choza gbaja pure via ga chozando. Yo klasie tai, have nu blami vi faga lagbagba nale, ulagbanye so. This is how come I must forever love this land, fondle her memory in all daydreams, in all nightmares, and in all moments of sleepwalking, serenade her beauty and love with breathless longing, even as I stumble and rise and stumble along alone into a future with no rest stops along the way, chasing after hopes and mirages, speeding away in my rearview mirror. I am the lover whose heart lost its way in the storm, chasing after whirlwinds, returned home to find my farmlands ravaged by Hamatan fires, my barn eaten up by termites, my grinding stone cracked and bleeding from wounds filled with maggots. Some say my head is just not big enough for the size of my dreams. My heart too hollow for the weight, the depth and density of a patriot's love. So how hard must I weep in broad daylight to pay for petty crimes I commit at night? Even the pastor says he's fed up with my constant confessions. They say I must stop whining like an overgrown, spoiled child. I must listen more to cheers raised sky high by those who wish me well. Colleagues and comrades, family and friends, even good-natured foes, all in praise of little things I dared to do for the good of the land, despite all my petty crimes, mostly committed at night, sometimes in broad daylight, hoping no one was really watching. So this is how come I have forever loved this land, fondled her memory and love like a long lost and now new-found heirloom worth the premium value of my soul. Yes, this is how come I have forever loved this land, fondled her memory and love like a long lost and now new-found heirloom worth the premium value of my soul. But you see, they caught my voice, gave it to guardians of the night, set a trap for my soul, and I had to rise to sudden call of death. Enale, Marala Gbanye Chore Gbeto Boy. Enale, Viola Gbanye Nalo marela gbanya chora zato boy. Nale jiola gbanya chora zato e. Kwera kushime bielalo miwe blamijo. Bajavio kushime bielalo miwe blamijo. Ora choza gwaja pure via choza do. Ina choza gwaja pure via choza do. Yo placheta e have no blani vi fagala gbagba nale marela gbanye chora zato e nale ole gbanye chora zato boy nale marela gbanye chora zato e Mawo nalo ole gbanye chora zato boy nale ole gbanye chora zato nalo ole gbanye chora zato boy nale ole gbanye chora zato Kushime bielalo miwe blamije Kushime bielalo miwe blamije Wana choza gwaja pure via gachozando Shine choza gwaja pure via gachozando O kwashetai Eheve nubla nivi fagala gbagba nale marela gwaje chora zantowe Nale marele gwenye chora gwato boy Nale marele gwenye chora gwato
Professor Kofi Anyido, you can't hide. We have to see you. Please, an applause for Professor Kofi Anyido.
And let's bring it back here. A round of applause for Professor Kofi Anyido. I hope all of us appreciate the legend that he is and how privileged we are to have him in our midst. And, you know, even as he's gone before us in the craft, he's still with us tonight to celebrate poetry, to celebrate literature, to celebrate the words that we have come assembled in Accra these past 3 days to celebrate. Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Patron Henuku, all the way from Togo. Patron, the stage is yours. Oh, please, keep clapping until he gets here.
Thank you for the flowers. I'm going to read a poem in French and 2 in English. And so the poem I'm going to read in French is from the book Tu aimes à regarder les vagues, which I co-edited with Reine Deby. I met Reine Deby in Togo in 2018, and in 2019 he was invited at Peja, and we met here and discussed things about, you know, cross-border collaborations. And so the collection, the anthology, comprises poets from Togo and poets from Cameroon. So you see that Peja is doing things beyond the gathering, the 3-day gathering that we are celebrating. So I'm sure other collaborations will bear fruits like this. It has already started. So thank you, Peja. You know Lucky Dube? He sings Revolution, but he sings Love too. Okay, thank you. And this poem is inspired by one of his songs. When you went, part of me went with you. That's why I call you on the phone. Release me, let me go. Release me, let me go. Release me and let me go. Remember that some bridges never bend. Hello, it's you I'm looking for. Ouais, I got you. Hello, Huck. Je suis ravi que tu vas super bien. Bon, je suis certaine que c'est ce que tu répondras. Tu présumes que je vais bien, même si tu t'aides de t'en enquérir. Ton silence est une parure qui te va bien, mais qui ronge du dedans mon sourire et ma joie de vivre. En fait, c'est seulement une partie de moi qui va bien, la partie de toi que j'ai emportée avec moi en partant. L'autre est un tapis de chagrin parsemé de coups de chaleur bienfaisante. Et je garde le sourire rongé en partie tout de même, et j'avance comme tu le souhaites toujours aux autres. Invite-moi, Huck. Je viendrai volontiers faire une dernière danse avec toi. Je te dirai entre deux beats combien je voudrais te savourer sur la peau de tes lèvres et partout où tu n'es pas. Je te ferai lire entre deux beats de musique la saveur de l'amour quand tout est absent. Lorsque tes yeux se ferment dans les miens. Tu sais, je t'en veux un peu de m'avoir laissé poursuivre le vent, et tu es trop démocrate et l'amour n'y trouve pas toujours un bon terreau. Aujourd'hui, ce truc informe de liberté me fait crever de manque de toi, qui n'est ni matériel ni rien, et va au-delà du charnel. Mon corps est un vide à présent que seul toi et Rishi peuvent combler. Hello, t'es là? Invite-moi, j'insiste. Je serai ta danse ce soir. Nous enfermerons les mots dans nos yeux. Je laisserai ton silence faire de ma peau sa demeure et son souffle suturer les débris de rêves éparpillés dans les souvenirs ivres de mon corps vide à présent que seul toi et Rishi pouvaient combler. Invite-moi, j'insiste. Je serai ta danse ce soir et nous enfermerons les mots dans tes yeux. Je laisserai ton silence faire de ma peau sa demeure et ton souffle suturer les débris de rêves éparpillés dans les souvenirs ivres de mon corps à présent vide que seul toi et Rishi pouvaient combler. Those who understand French know that the poem is written in the voice of a lady who is leaving a voice note on the WhatsApp number of her lover. So the second poem is in English, and it's an experience that I have tried in the collection that is coming, my collection that is coming, entitled Jazz and Other Prayers. So this is a conversation between the persona of the poem and a character in a novel called Dalva. Dalva from here. I saw her, the one we nickname in the city the Creature, or Vivenda Ercilia, the she-devil. It depends. When she came out of the water, naked from head to toe, heedless of any danger. This an extract taken from Les Enfants du Brésil of Togolese novelist Kani Alem. Dalva, your skin is an arena where drums and chants of masks overflow. Kaleta, kaleta, kaleta bokeke, kaka motobi, womo gbeye, semom, kaka motobi, womo gbeye. Dalva, there is nothing between the devil and you, for sure. Your ocean voice, written like it is in their forehead, dance that the dark sky performs under your skin, reflects in your eyes like a connection, a nightmare fished out of the ocean by Santana, which neither you nor I have drawn on the sand of our shores, so far apart and yet so close. Dalva, what separates the waves of Salvador de Bahia from the anger of T. Brava is not the waters of the Atlantic, nor the spices which poke them actually, like salt in a wound. I can see you are very happy, your heart full of love, Dalva, despite the 500 and more nights buried in our blood, and in the unexpected memory of the oceans standing, and in my steps, which my eyes, hungry of words, narrate between the flowered rows of sunken gardens, Lincoln. Yes, in the street of this town, aware of my minority, along peaceful days, deserted days, I chew my fear in the tune of trouble in mind. Yes, along in the street of these towns, aware of my minority, along peaceful days, deserted days, I chew my fear on the tune of trouble in mind. We must remain standing. This is inspired from Joseph Kizebo's famous statement, si nous nous couchons, nous sommes morts. If we lie, we're dead. So we must remain standing. I have no heritage more sturdy than the hearts I carry inside me, a country to bequeath to my people, weakened by the love we give to a state stuffed with lies, with slanders, and with things that burn the nose. In those moments, when I'm most calm, when silence traps me in its sticky sadness, and anger burns me with a heat equal to my impotence, I take leave to listen to jazz, a prayer, both sweet and stilly at once. I drown myself in pure jazz, a love supreme, 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 a love supreme in which my body flows with the tears of a country on its knees since its dreams ended. A love supreme it must be to remain standing the world revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Patron. Merci beaucoup. Oh, no. By now I don't have to just keep clapping. Because he was phenomenal. Patron, thank you so much. Thank you. Next on the bill, without wasting much time, we have Mitch. Mitch, the stage is yours. Round of applause for Mitch.
Hello, hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mitch Isabidi. I'm from Uganda, Kampala. So, yeah. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah? I'm doing two pieces on this cold evening, but wonderful evening. Yeah. The first piece I'm doing is called "Look at Us." Yeah, I did it yesterday, but it's one of my collection where I try to question adulthood. Yeah. How is adulthood? It is adulting. Alright. Yeah, it's called Look at Us, hopefully enjoy. We wanted to be adults so much, now look at. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Well, I'm just working towards Friday and I see what happens next. In a blink of an eye, the weekend is over. The beauty is it lasts longer than most of your relationships. They say time is money. It seems far-fetched because I've been broke most of my life. We wanted to be adults so much, now look at. Just another day of please find attached and best of kind regards. Hopefully this email finds you well. Well, spoiler alert, these are just rates packaged well. The best mathematics students in school are still struggling to figure out life, and as who struggled at mathematics after so many failed relationships, it is easier to find your exes. We wanted to be adults so much, now look at. It is easier to get the latest Apple iPhone than to be someone's apple of an eye. Sometimes I'm even pushed to believe Eve left Adam because of an Apple iPhone. It explains why the serpent was airdropped from heaven. It gives a whole new meaning to iCloud. We wanted to be adults so much, now look at the ladies. The ladies will hate guys who give them coins and love guys who give them both good sides of the coin, head and tail. When it comes to relationships, men will opt for partners with gym bodies and somehow the relationships will fail to work out. When it comes to friendships, we keep postponing when to catch up until death does us. We wanted to be adults so much. Now look at. We have been disappointed most of our life, but somehow we are expected to trust, and trust is earned, but we are unemployed, so how are we supposed to earn trust? And here every earning is taxed, so we're even scared of earning. Yeah. But somehow we are expected to trust the process. Has someone ever bothered to ask the process if it knows we trust it? And trust is supposed to be reciprocated. When will the process start trusting us? They say there is light at the end of the tunnel. Is it hard to light the whole tunnel? Who even knows where the entrance to this tunnel is? We wanted to be adults so much. Now look at. We are going to be the first generation of parents that don't watch news. I'm even worried about what I'll leave my children as inheritance. We'll take over a few poems, vibes, and lines, you know. We shall be the first generation of sugar daddies without sugar. But luckily enough, we work out and we are healthy, so we shall be the first generation of sugar daddies without diabetes either. We wanted to be adults so much. Now look at. Everything is about finances. Today, financially stable. The next day, you're doing mathematics, calculating. Yeah? We have hit the highs of highs and lows of lows. I thought rock bottom was supposed to be our foundation. Only to realize rock bottom has a basement and people are seated comfortably listening to poetry. We pray and party at the same time, so heaven and hell, I don't know where we're going here. But we are dream chasers. It explains why every morning we wake up when we are tired. Yeah. So my next piece is called 2 a.m. at Mines, yeah? This piece is called 2 a.m. at Mines. I don't know what you guys be doing at 2 a.m., but this is what I do at 2 a.m., yeah? When I don't have sleep. It's adulting, eh? Okay. It is 2 a.m. at Mines. Don't ask why I am awake at this time. I thought we all do. Maybe, probably, I'm online watching videos describing all signs of depression and everything said matches with my current situation. Let me watch one more episode. This is one of the greatest lies ever told. Right now I'm on the 2nd season of my favorite TV show and the plot twists keep becoming exciting. It is 2 a.m. at Mines. Don't ask why I am awake at this time. I thought we all do. Maybe I am excited about the Fifi talking stage in a month, having pictured how everything will turn up, figuring out everything. But the last situationship almost took my life. Now I'm even scared of attachment. Speaking about attachments, the last email I sent my boss didn't even have an attachment. I proceed to open my laptop. It is 2 a.m. at Mines. Don't ask why I am awake at this time. The plan was to have a partner by my bedside, waking up because my hand is numb. I've been cuddling and spooning. But now I wake up to the sound of my laptop because I slept in the middle of a movie. The side of my bed now is for the laptop, extension cable, and a few snacks. The plan was to have someone take my breath away. But now I am awake because the left side of my nose is blocked and I'm trying to catch my breath back. It is 2 a.m. at Mines. Don't ask why I am awake at this time. Maybe I'm thinking about the Bible. To be specific, the story of the prodigal son. And if I ever chose to go back home, my parents would let me in. 3 meals a day is something we took for granted. Now the only time I prepare food when my body has started shaking because of hunger. It is 2 a.m. at Mines. Don't ask why I'm awake at this time. I thought we all do. The plan was to have my favorite person touch me inappropriately, but now most of you have to wait for the next protest to have the police to touch you inappropriately. I am awake because I'm thinking about my next outfit for the next day. It is 2 a.m. at Mines. Don't ask why I'm awake at this time. It is because someone I lowered my standard for and things were not even serious. He's not even responding to my text. And nothing was that serious. I am awake because I'm remembering all the wise stuff I would have said in an argument. It is 2 a.m. at Mines. Maybe I'm wondering how to use the word owe in a sentence. If someone demands me money, do I owe them or do they owe me? I mean, I am awake because I have to come to the fact that my future solely lies in my hands. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mitch Isavide.
Thank you so much, Mitch. Thank you. Now we're going to South Africa, and we have a poetic goddess in the house. Philippa de Villiers is taking the stage. A round of applause for her.
No, I'm not that tall. Good evening, Accra. Thank you so much for Paja. It's been so amazing. Let's say thank you to Paja. Thank you for poetry. Thank you for passion. Thank you for memory. Thank you for connection. Thank you for lies. I know you were lying. Lots of people were lying. That's what we do, we're storytellers. Thank you so much for everything. Once again, you brought the magic. The magic inside of us came back, and we are back to ourselves. So I would like to share 2 poems with you. This poem is Ekujuleni Kwami. Ekujuleni Kwami is it's a place in isiZulu. You know how there are places in certain languages they don't come to English, really, but I hope you'll get there by the feeling of it. There is a column of quiet at the center of you, a spine of equanimity, a deep blue sky that doesn't grab at every bird that crosses it, a starry, starry night, sheltering your fearless footsteps, a storm beating thunder drums to your enemies, a quiet that doesn't echo every note of the river, murmuring through the stately forest of your being, a stillness that does not require a selfie to prove that it exists. When I return, ekujuleni kwami, and shake off my shackles and walk into the embrace of trees at liberty to feel the shadow dapple on my naked skin and hear at last, growing closer, the waterfall that has never forgotten my name, knew me before I called it home. Ekujuleni kwa. Thank you. I hope you're going to come there sometime and join us and meet yourself. This is an old poem. It was commissioned when Nelson Mandela passed away. So that's a while ago. So this is a 10-year poem, like my brother. I'm bringing it out. Courage, it takes more. It takes more than breath to be alive, more than blood to find your line, more than a hand to throw a stone. It takes a heart beaten into bricks and built into a home, a house where humanity finds its home. The house is in the street and the street lies on the land, a land of corpses and speeches, a land of lies. The lies we tell to keep the best for our own family, country, God, whatever we imagine is our home. The best of us are rivers who give themselves to oceans, rivers who throw themselves over cliffs into oceans, rivers who never look back, never regret what they've given, and the more they give, the more flows out, the more they give, the more flows out, the more they give, the more flows out. Will you, won't you walk beside Mandela? Follow his feet along Justice Street. Won't you, will you beat your heart into a home for all humanity? He was not alone. A million hands held him up, Colossus. And there is no house without water, no wall without foundation, no Mandela without Mbeki, Sisulu, Dadu, no Biko without Ngoyi, without Sobukwe, without Goldberg, no Fisher without Slovo, without First. And will you walk behind them and shout freedom through your thirst? Spend your breath on justice, to prison or to death. It takes more heart than you think you have, but you are a river, and heroes are heroes because we make them into heroes. Mutu, Kimutu, Kibato, Babang. River, ocean falling into the sun, and when all languages are forgotten and this day of life is done, only when we come together can we say that we have won. When we can be together, one love, one heart, one. Thank you.
Philippa Ya de Villiers for you. I told you we had a poetic goddess in the house. Another round of applause. Thank you so much, my sister. Now, how many of you are in Accra for the very first time? All righty. Not you, Gustavo. But over your stay in Accra these past few days, did you have a chance to go to the Foundation for Contemporary Art at the Du Bois Center? How many people did? Okay, now I'm making this reference because there's a very important edifice that also sits at the Du Bois Center, the Diaspora Africa Forum, which is more or less the embassy for the diaspora. And through their efforts, we now officially have the diaspora being recognized as the 6th region of Africa, with its own flag and everything. It's amazing. And why is this important at this moment? Because our next poet, Gustavo, is all the way from Brazil. And of course, Brazil is a member of the diaspora. Round of applause for Gustavo.
Hello. First of all, I would like to thank you, my fellow African friends, maybe we are cousins, for the reception, the treatment, the love, and all the gifts that I have received. This is something very interesting. Every time I travel to Africa, I come back to Brazil washed on gifts. Maybe this is a lesson that all Brazilians should learn when they receive Africans back to Brazil. Well, besides being a translator, a teacher, I'm also a poet. But the poem that I'm going to recite is not mine. It's a poet from a Portuguese writer called José Régio. I will do the poem in Portuguese, and you get the cadence. And somewhere in the poem, I will try to translate it immediately into English to see if it can fit. The name of the poem is Black Chant. Cântico Negro. Vem por aqui, dizem-me alguns com olhos doces, estendendo-me os braços e seguros de que seria bom que eu os ouvissem quando me dizem, vem por aqui. Eu olho-os com olhos laços, há nos meus olhos ironias e cansaços e cruzo os braços e não vou por aí. A minha glória é essa, criar desumanidades e não acompanhar ninguém, porque eu vivo com o mesmo sem vontade, com que rasguei o ventre a minha mãe. Não, não vou por aí, só vou por onde me levam meus próprios passos. Se as coisas que eu pergunto em vão ninguém responde, por que me dizeis vós, vem por aqui? Prefiro escorregar nos becos lamacentos, redemoinhar aos ventos, como farrapos arrastar os pés sangrentos a ir por aí. Se eu vim ao mundo, foi só para desflorar florestas virgens e desenhar meus próprios passos na areia inexplorada. O mais que eu faço não vale nada. Como sereis vós, que me dareis ferramentas, machados e coragem para eu derrubar os meus obstáculos? Corre nas vossas veias sangue velho dos avós, e vós amais o que é fácil. Eu amo longe e a miragem, amo os abismos, as torrentes e os desertos. Ide, tendes jardins, tendes canteiros, tendes estradas, e tendes livros de tratados de filósofos e sábios. Eu tenho a minha loucura, levanto-a como um facho a arder na noite escura, e sinto espuma e sangue e cântico nos lábios. God and the devil are who guide me, no one else. Todos tiveram pai, todos tiveram mãe, mas eu que nunca principio nem acabo, nasci do amor que há entre Deus e o diabo. Há que ninguém me dê piedosas intenções, não me peçam definições, ninguém me diga, vem por aqui. A minha vida é um vendaval que sou. É uma onda que se levantou, é um átomo a mais que se animou. I don't know where I go. I don't know where I came from. I just know that I don't go this way.
Gustavo, obrigado. Thank you so much. Now, we're going to Nigeria.
Okay.
And next up, we have Aduke. Oh, round of applause for her. And Aduka is coming after Gustavo for a reason. She's from the Tabon group in Nigeria, right, Aduke?
That's right.
And we have Tabons in Accra as well, who have Portuguese, Brazilian descent. It's a whole beautiful heritage being mixed up. And I'm very happy because the Tabons, they are part of the Ga lineage in Ghana, and I'm a Ga woman. So a round of applause for Aduke.
Wait. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. So, can you hear me? Because my voice sounds odd to me. Does it sound okay to you? Okay, fine. Okay. So, I've been wondering what to read. So I decided I'd read from some new work. Yes? No? No? New or old? Okay. So my new work is in the process of being published, so you can enjoy it and I can have some feedback. So migrants is an issue, okay? And a few years back, there was 6 years ago, they found 26 young Nigerian girls drowned in the Mediterranean. And it really, you hear the stories, but this really felt like home because they were all just 26 young girls. So I'm going to just read you 2 or 3 of the poems I've done for them. When they were found, they were buried in Italy, and the funerals were held in November. So this first one is called Funerals in November. We each got a single white rose, a sly compliment on purity from the hothouse. We wanted the fiery glory of hibiscus and ixora with the sweet lilting accent of the jacaranda, the flowers we picked going to school, going to the market, going to the farm, that typical tropical flower lifespan, a true harbinger. We would have preferred wreaths plaited by hands more used to a responsive head of hair, fashioned out from spinach and pumpkin leaves and studded with egusi seeds, reminding us of our mother's cooking pots, along with our laughter after meals eaten leisurely, when sundown is not a time to be fearful. But most of all, we ought to have pleaded for drums as a counterpoint to those foreign chants. Singing of the lost. Waiting for the boats, we sing all the time, usually silently, keeping in time with our breathing, nodding our heads. Sometimes, if they think we have been good enough, they allow a low murmuration, hymns that won't annoy. Listen well, you can hear them. Replayed and replayed by the seagulls squawking on the beaches. They learnt them from us, those screeches of despair. We envied them, those birds, hovering around us in the day, snatching at our hair, grabbing our hands, cruel, sharp beaks and painful claws. Kinder yet than our captors' hands and mouths after dinner when we tried to shove them off. But these, when we shoo them away, soar above us high, free and graceful, like us, soon to be. Those ones at night, they never stop. Wonder at the moonlit sky. Best believe it, for we have not the words to tell you. The moon over this desert is unlike any moon that has been ever seen before, unless you too have followed these undulating pilgrim paths. We certainly had never ever seen such, not peeking from the windows of our homes, scheming for the fantasy of a different life, not glimpsed from the back of a speeding lorry or snatched before the boot closed out all breath. The moon in our cities is a pale thing, It hides its infrequent splendor, as if reluctant to compete with the intermittent electricity and the generator glare buzzing away from beyond the back of the high-rise flats. The moon in our villages is different, bright gleaming amongst the stars, a time for tales and wonderment, guiding home the late-night travelers and helping the hunters to set traps in the bush. But this, the wonder of this Sahelian moon, streaming in through our dreams and hopes and silver coating our chain-bound limbs, makes you believe that your prayers are heard and that this misbegotten journey will end well. Now, so this is the last one. So the poems are conceived as a series of interventions by the girls, and there's also a narrator. So this is the last one that is by the narrator. Zobo drinking. The waters rushed in on all sides from that unwelcoming wine-dark sea. They tasted it. They had no choice. Surprisingly, not salty as you would expect, filling their nostrils, ears, mouths, and lungs with a terrible searing burning. But a rich sweetness, a sweetness hued in purple, distilled from hibiscus and ginger and sunshine. In those moments, they gulped and they spluttered and they drank it and they drank it. Again, they had no choice. When you cannot swim, you tend to swallow a lot, till it filled their hearts with reminiscence, though none formed in that cold, drear place. So, I may not be able to turn water into wine, but I know how to slake the thirst of such as these at such a time with diversionary thoughts of songs and the silly chatter of past companions. And when they had drunk their fill of my zobo, they smiled, whispered thank you, and then gently slipped away. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aduke. Thank you so much. My Tabon sister. Oh, I think we can do better than that. And while we thank Aduke for joining us on stage, we want to welcome 100%. Round of applause for 100%. It's 100 but spelled with an O. The way the Ghanaian Ghana people honor it, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay, cool. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are bored. All right, cool. Don't mind me. All right, so I'm going to perform a piece, but I'll need you guys' help. And there's going to be a lot of repetition in this piece. It's a piece I wrote after being frustrated with a queue. The piece is actually titled Queue, and if you're a Ghanaian here, this is the frustration I had whilst I was getting my Ghana card. For those of you who do not know what a Ghana card is, it's sort of like a passport but on a card. That's the best way I can describe it. All of us are supposed to get it. But I stood in a very long, frustrating queue in order to get it. So I will make a gesture. And when I make that gesture, I need you guys to just say queue. Are we okay with that? The gesture is this. When I just go like that, you're supposed to say queue. Are we cool? So I will just say a few lines just to see whether we've got it all together. Then I'll begin the piece, okay? Woke up at 3 in the morning to go stand in the... That statement don't bother you well. Stand in the... Okay, you guys got it. So let's just start from the top. Okay, good. Woke up at 3 in the morning to go stand in the... That statement don't bother you well. Stand in the... As I got to the... There was already a human beings, chairs and stones all positioned at the... There were others standing in line for others at the... I didn't mind because it's something that I would do at a... But 7 had to go, Charlie. It's a bit of a stretch at the... Especially when the rest of us came early to the... I'm in shorts, t-shirts, and slip-ons at the... That's stupid for mosquitoes and line at the... It's early morning. I guess I'm Tom Brown at the... All of a sudden, people are cutting the line at the... As if those of us behind would take this nonsense at the... Pulses flared, words were exchanged, there was a quarrel at the... Unfortunately, no referee was present to decide at the... Friends were made along with enemies together at the... I'm in the queue and it's not moving. It's taking hours, we all losing. Hope in the system, government twisted, someone's blessing inside the queue. Oh no, got to get my card though. Without it I can't get my bank card, so stand here, wait till I'm tired. That's how it is inside the queue. Patients wrestled with common sense at the... Officials arrived later. Order came to the... Apparently too many of us were standing in the... Some had to go in order for us to make sense of the... After hours of standing, I was kicked out of the... Came too late was the reason I was outed from the... Pleading and begging by neighbors got me back into the... Charlie, I waited 5 more hours to be attended at the... Got a receipt and was told to come back in 2 weeks to a... Woke up early, met mosquitoes, friends again at the... Waited another couple of hours to be attended at the... Got a receipt and was told to come in another 1 week to get a card and my information to assist me in a... After all this, I'm told I wasted my time at the... Skipped work for nothing but to get a tan at the... The card is useless, good for nothing. I got to get in line in a... To get another card, which is not the last time I stand in a... I've got questions for the government. Let me line them up in a... Why can't I use Ghana card to vote? Please give me a clue, for this process is sick like someone with COVID and the flu. For decades we've been free, but struggled with identity. Parties come and go, misuse our cash and empathy. We're smart but can't solve the problem of identity. Yet are giving free education. Yeah, that's quite a recipe. Are you still in the... Can you even leave the... Maybe not. Hoping for hope to come through. Save the day, replace pain, and ease up there. Thank you.
100%. Thank you. Thank you so much. And as we graciously usher him off the stage, let's be kind enough to welcome Abena to the stage. Round of applause for Abena. It's A''Bina.
Okay, so this weekend, we've been exploring some things in my sessions, right? And everyone is always part of this. So you are going to help me with this session now. You are going to do a double clap. Abigail, you're smiling. You know what we are going to do. So it's like this. I want everyone to do it. Good. Maintain it nicely. Good. When I was 5.5, I lie in my mother's arms. Now I'm 35 and I am oversized. I don't like adulting. Makes my heart boom cha. I don't like adulting, and I will tell you why. I have to pay my rent. I have to buy my food. I have to say my prayers. Pay e-levy too. Broken heart is a must. Then 001. Adodina your mate. Hashtag stop galamsey. I wish I could say more, but tomorrow is Monday. 9 to 5 every day. Bye yawa, it go be. Now I'm going to read. No, that's fine. Thank you. I'm going to read my second poem to you, and I call this the Ark Upon the High Tide. Those who were with me yesterday would know the motivation for this was that I was rushing to be an adult, and I didn't know adulthood is what it is. And I have so many things, and I summed it all into this poem. The Ark Upon High Tide. Once as a child, I hid in a wardrobe on a Saturday morning. I cannot hide now. My back is too broad to fit. I have come of age and my body is a knack. And now in my chest, anxieties pull out, not unlike a pregnant frog in a warm pool. The rain would fall unrestrained, and I shall ride upon the high tide, float in city floods, plan escape from burning buildings, fall from summits, crawl up a skyscraper, forget myself, lose composure, feign confidence, rebel, get broke, lose a job, find happiness, break down in the emergency room, bury a beloved, have an abortion, fight with the police, beat them up, go on the march, beat up a thief, be beaten up in a fight, have regular panic disorders, get therapy, fail, get therapy, fail again, get therapy, get into a drunken brawl, snot powder up my nostrils, fight with my father, cry with my mother, hold my sister to my chest, carry my brother on my back, make friends, find sisters in arms, wrestle with my weight, get married, miscarry my baby, find love in hopeless places, cuss out the patriarchy, get addicted to social media, have 10 tattoos and 20 piercings, cut my hair and travel the world, hide in my room, be a plant mom, chase the sun, dance in the rain, tumble down the stairs, and in the madness find method. And when it's all over, the floods would recede, the sky would close, and the fountains of the deep will become shallow springs. Then I will become a child again, hiding in a wardrobe on a Saturday morning. Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you so much, Abna, for gracing the stage. And swiftly, right behind Abna, is Amy Shimshona, all the way from the United States of America. But you think she lives in Ghana and she's Ghanaian, because, I mean, she's always here now. A round of applause for Amy.
Hello, beautiful people. So it's not every day you get to read with friends you only get to see once every couple of years. So I'm taking liberty to invite up some friends. I hope that's okay. All right. So this poem is about, it exists in 11 languages, but we're gonna read it to you today in English and in Spanish and in Tree. All right. What if I were as I actually am? Belonging to the iron earth I pulse. Fluid torso of rain. I pour. Electric spine of thunder. I tremble. Weightless limbs of air. I levitate. What if I were exactly as I am? Y si yo fuera precisamente como soy, pertenezco a la tierra de hierro. Yo vibro, torso líquido de lluvia. Me derramo, eléctrica columna vertebral de trueno. Yo tiemblo, extremidades ligeras de aire. Me elevo, si yo fuera precisamente quien soy.
Na sɛ anka meyɛ sɛnea mete ankasa na asase a ɛsɛ dadeɛ ne metenabea mede me ho ahyɛ asase yi mu mebɔ te sɛ akoma nsuo a ɛfi nsuo metogu aprɛ a na abobom na anyine mu tete gya yiw m'ani wo so mframa a no nyɛ den ɛbɔ wɔ naa ho mesensɛn wiem na sɛ anka menye sɛnea mete ara.
All right. It is actually, I'm going to ask our friend Pelu to come on up, and we're going to read you a silly poem. And it's funny that Piocor said that. Oh my gosh. There actually is a story to when I actually thought I was Ghanaian for a minute. I'm really sorry. I know, it's crazy. I know I'm a Jewish woman from Los Angeles with family in the Middle East, in Brazil, in Canada, in Uruguay. But we had hung out and had so much fun that when I went to the literary festival in Nigeria, I left and I just thought I'd come back with Nana Sasi. And they met him at the airport and they invited him back in. And then they looked at my visa and they said, "You can't come in." And I was like, oh my God, I really am, what has happened? This is what friendship will do to you. So this poem is a silly poem. And it's a story that is in English and also was translated into Nigerian Pidgin, but a very specific kind that Pelu says is different than his, by Akpa Arinze-Chekwa. How many people here know Akpa? Anybody? Apiokor knows Akpa. Great. The 1,000-bird tree. Let me stop singing and tell you about this brown twig. We are migrants from the 1,000-bird tree that was massacred last year when the humans cut down our world. They've killed most of the trees around here. Our singing trees are gone, and singing is what we like to do. What you call singing, we call living. Human homes aren't even alive, and they cannibalize space. Now there aren't enough homes for all the humans, and the rest of us are squatters. When they massacred the 1,000-bird tree, we migrated south in search of good branches, limbs, and leaves, good bushes and flowers. We are many. We hop and scrape our feet in the dirt. I'm lucky to be able to rest in the peach tree. There are seeds and dried leaves and grass for making nests. There are more sparrows than people. A woman lives here too. She has no wings, not one single feather. When the sun returns, she comes outside to be with us and sits in a chair. I watch her from a branch and click. She doesn't shoo us away or cut down the vines and trees. People make such strange sounds. Who knows what they're trying to sing? We, on the other wing, make music, rhythmic clicking tapestries, feathers fluttering open and shut like fans. Humans might call it Morse code, but we're not warring birds. This is how we make the world beautiful. If I sang to you, you wouldn't know how to read it. Every day we sing our culture, jokes, and games. Every day you think chirping.
Yes, good evening, everybody. So what you just heard in English, I'm going to recite in Pidgin, Nigerian Pidgin. And I didn't rehearse this, so just pardon me if you see me trying to choke. But my name is Belu. I'm a travel writer, not a poet. So I'll do. So I'll read now in Pidgin. Make me stop to this thing for now. Tell you one or two things about this tree. We be them 1,000 bed tree where them massacre last year. We man them pursue us for our home. Them almost kill all them tree for here. Them trees where they sing don't go. And you self suppose sabi say singing na the thing where we sabi do. Waiting you self call music now how will they take leave? No be even say man them home they breathe. Them just sabi chop space. We they drag space with them because they don't even get enough for themselves. When them been butchered the 1,000 bed tree, we begin movement reach south. Make we foresee better place to hang do our thing. We plenty, we dey jollificate for dirty. Me self get luck say I see one big tree to rest. This place get plenty things where we go fit use make our home. For here we get sparrows pass man. One woman live for here self. She no even get wings. She no get feather. She dey come sit down with us when the sun come out. Me, when I see am, I go begin sing. She no dey bother us. She no dey reason cut them trees. The sound people make funny me pass. Who sabi the kind thing where them they sing? We get wings sabi this music thing all through to the way our wings they beat for sky. People they call them Morse code, but no be we they go war kill person. Now like this we they carry paint this world make it fine. If I sing give you, you no go fit sabi am. Every day we gather sing our thing. Every day you think say a noise. By translated into Nigerian Pidgin by Akpa and Arinze Chuku. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one last little poem. This one, I'd like to ask that you repeat after me 3 times. War, war, war is obsolete. War is obsolete. War is obsolete. Our friend Philip has said, sometimes there isn't justice, there's just a poem. So we've been trying to write the poems to hold space for the justice that we wish. This poem is structured after an ancient Hebrew poem that was written thousands of years ago called the Akdamut. And it's called The Location of Worms. And on the left side of the poem is the first letter and the last letter of the alphabet in Hebrew. And the sound that makes together is ta. And I'd like you to practice one little thing with you so I could recite it with you with the rhythm of ta. And it just goes like this. Together we'll say ta, ta, ta. Join me, ta, 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 ta. With me, ta, 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 ta. Great, ta. Now at the very end you're going to see me go like this. Ta, ta, ta. And we'll be quiet at the end. So I'm just giving you a little heads up. The location of worms after the Akdamut. Ta, 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 ta. Olive, bait. We keep the ta-ta going. I need a ta-ta person. You want to come up with here with me? Come, friend. Come, come, come. Yes. You, Mr. Q. We're going to go a little faster. Ta, 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 ta. Can you do me on the ta, 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 ta? And when I put my hand on your shoulder, we'll start to ta, ta. And now everybody. Ta, 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 ta. Praise unceasingly. Ta, ta. Almost an intelligible oneness. Ta, ta, ta. All ages, walking, crawling, sometimes running, sleeping on the wings of all kinds. Ta, ta. Starting with the angels of eggplant. Ta. Humus, shakshuka. Ta, ta. The angels of rest. Ta, ta, ta. Calendar year of praise. Ta. Rising up and down in all directions. Praise for good deeds. Be strong and courageous. Ta, ta, ta. Prayers for praise itself. Ta, ta, ta. Bird sung praises, piyut of praise. Ta, ta. And even in the location of worms, a woman can raise herself in sound and form, singing with the alphabet until there was only quiet.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. We're almost done here. Next up, we're going to Liberia. Othniel Fort takes the stage. Round of applause for Othniel.
Hi, greetings from Monrovia. Are you okay? Okay, so I'm going to do two pieces from the upcoming book called Unprotected. In Liberia, what we call a he for she, you call it a feminist, I'm a he for she. We say no to violence, no to domestic violence, and Unprotected is an anthology that speaks about that. I'm going to be doing them in Kolokwa. Someone just did Pidgin, right? Good. You all know the market dogs, right? The dogs in the market have no owners, and the way they are treated, they aren't treated nicely. So the first piece is going to be called Market Dog. She's sticking in the corner, covering her face. She's yelling for help, but nobody won't help her. Her children, them crying, she's scary. The children, them scared of him. All of them calling for help, but no help is coming. In the meantime, he punching her just a sandbag. He whipping her left and right. He kicking her on her stomach, her back, her head. He beating her just like a market dog. As if vegetation follow his face. His damn vest by away. He just flocking her. He not want to stop for the children. He not want to stop for anybody. He not want to say anything. He said nobody will do nothing to him. All he wants to do is just flock that dog. The English version goes like this. She squeezes over in the corner, covering her face. She screams for help, but no one helps. Her children are weeping. She's afraid. They are afraid. They all call for help, but it comes not. Meanwhile, he pounces away, her stomach, her back, her chest. He kicks away. His mind is consumed with rage. Beastly anger overtakes him. He doesn't stop for the kids. He stops for no one. He has but one goal. The next piece will be Hey, uncle, are your dollar. This is a conversation between a guy in the community who watches a girl growing up. And so she's like, hey, uncle, are your daughter? Oh? I said, are you there, so? You getting fresh in the place here? Oh? That you were just walking around here butt naked in tear clothes? Are you looking fine and juicy like that? Or your titties standing like iron and your tumor shaking like 2 water balloons? Hey, uncle, are your daughter? Oh, don't be saying that kind of bad thing to me. Oh, they're not good. Oh, wait here, you small girl. What do you know? You don't know that kitty can eat her own baby.
Say, but uncle, we're not kidding. We're human beings. We're not supposed to be eating our own children. You think that me who will fighting frog for snake? I'm going to taste the pound one before I sell it. Oh. But another other pound one you will taste, so uncle. You will not taste it, enough for you. Just be sitting down there. Let me grow in peace. What do you call peace? I just want to eat small thing. Can't let me eat small thing here, yeah? No. Enough for you. You too old. I will tell my pa. Your pa what? The lion? I'm not scared of your pa. Then your pa I won't eat. That your cushy I won't eat. But you juke bad way because you're not going for eating, not for you. Now who is for now? Talk about eating when you die. Oh. Yeah. When I die, the talk about eating, but you're not let you touch it. Grown rusted paper like you not let no shame. You not respect yourself, eh? You better leave me. And then the last piece is going to be your prose. Poetry in prose. It's from the book called Mothers Craved from Stones. Mothers Craved from Stones. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but eyes alone can do no harm. My mother lay dying on the bed. The dark, cold room was quiet except for her wheezing. Each breath harder to take, each even harder to exhale, each labored. Beneath all the pain and struggle was the same menacing stare that tore right through your bones, crushing you up from head to toe, shattering your existence. As I walked in the dark, her dark pupils glistening, a sign that she was very much alive within that frail body. Mother lay dying while I just stood there looking on, feeling nothing, willing myself to feel something, some of the rage and the hate and the disappointment I felt all my life. Sadly, I felt nothing. I've never felt nothing before. In case you are wondering what nothing feels like. Well, it is empty and dark and calm and peaceful and all the same. At the same time, it is indescribable. After all, it's nothing. Die, mother, die. End this thing, my stare told her. She stared back at me, twisting her mouth as if to speak. Her defiant eyes replied, "Not on your life, you bastard." "Sure, but you will die, and when you do, I'll spit on your grave. I wish you go to hell," my eyes conveyed. "Certainly," she conveyed back to me through her eyes. "But I'm consoled in the fact knowing that you'll be joining me soon after." And then we just stared. After a while, I finally felt something. Irritation. A part of me wished her to end this quickly so that I could leave this place. Satisfaction. The other part wanted her to go on. I wanted to watch this eternally. I'd be pissed at myself for letting her go this easily. Hell, I'll even be mad at her for not fighting this. Still cheating death. Malignity. It was impossible for us to hate each other more than we already had. She was cruel to me all my life, and I to her all my adult life. There was no pretense. On this, we were both clear. We respected each other. I never knew what a mother love was, nor did she know what a daughter's love was. We grew up stabbing each other at every turn. It was either her or me. I chose her, while obviously she picked me. A mother's basic job is to love and care for her child. At least that's what they say. Mine was to end this existence of mine. Growing up, my mother was never really there in my life. She'd disappear for long stretches only to reappear meaner than before. On my first day of grade school, I cried bitterly. My excuse was I didn't want to wear a particular pair of shoes. In truth, I was intimidated by large crowds. I'd figured that out in kindergarten. Every lunchtime we had to mix the classes up, and each time I felt a strong urge and I choked. Additionally, I feared large objects. They made me feel small and insignificant. People use big words to describe these feelings. What the hell is introvert or non-sociable? or megaphobia or some other nonsense. I knew two things. Plenty of people suffocated me and large things intimidated me. I struggled to leave the house. My grandparents were coaxing me when my mother calmly walked out of the room. She knelt beside me, took my hand, and asked me gently, "You now want to go to school?" I shook my head affirmatively. "Okay, stay home, Ma." I couldn't believe my good fortune. I couldn't believe my good fortune. My heart was gleeful. I mean, it raced with joy until the rest of her comment came in. And be a watapoli, hopojo work get good money, oh. With this, she gently let go of my hands, stood up, walked away as calmly as she had come. Everything about this was wrong. And it wasn't the look on my grandpa's face, nor the hand over my grandmother's agaped mouth that made me to draw that conclusion. It was more mother's expression, the calmness, the steady voice, as well as the measured level of sarcasm. That did it for me. I learned one valuable lesson that day, although I didn't realize it. When it comes to mother, the calmer is more dangerous. Oh, and much later, who a Hopojo or Watapoli was, and I shall. Thank you.
Thank you, Othniel. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you. Almost through. LKD, the stage is yours. Round of applause for LKD.
Hello. Hi. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? Okay, so I go by the name LKD, and we are going to keep the short and sweet. Okay. I call this one Science and Wonder. It's a 10-minute piece, but compressed. Okay. In the beginning, even before the infinitely ancient God determined the radial sphericity of the earth to be, his spirit existed, and so did we. For he did see the you and I to be in his mind's eye, even while the earth was lifeless, formless, empty, cost 90. But from zero he counted the very seconds it would take to launch you and I into orbit of existence when he said, "Let there be light," and just like that, at a speed of at least 3 times 10 raised to the power 8 meters per second, darkness spiraled into non-existence. But speaking of existence, there existed Adam, the first man on Earth's chronological calendar, made from millions of microns and billions of milliliters of dust and clay particles, modeled and molded under the scientifically artistic myths and metacarpals of our Maker. And so came Eve, the algebraic sum of Adam's ribs minus 1. Amazing how this minus 1 became the plus 1 that completed man's life equation. 1 plus 1 equals 1. The story of the union set. Man in communion set with God in koinonia setting until the sunset intersection. One thing called sin set in, and in one moment, one man, one woman, one tree, one lie became the damnation of one world of not one but thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones, and it was one sad story until one wondrous thing happened. One man, one cross, one tree, one act, one body of many members of one another reconciled to one God in one faith and one baptism. For if by one man and one tree came sin, death, and damnation, so by one man and one tree comes grace, life, and salvation. And one might ask who this one man is. Well, this man, number 1, is actually Adam. Number 2, and his name is Jesus.
Thank you, LKD. Damani, stage is yours, Damani. Round of applause for Damani.
Hello. You know,
Hi.
People always say, "Why is your hair so bushy?" Oh, it doesn't speak well of you. You would look better with a fade and or a low cut. Just comb it at least. But every time I comb my hair, it just breaks and curls back. This all started in school, long before I learned about the races of the world. Maybe because the curriculum only taught us what to think, not how to think. My brother said, of all the races of the world, only black people have no law for our own hair growth. Even this system, trying so hard to please its master, did not include me. For slave master said my hair was ugly and my locks dreadful. That includes you too, if indeed. Oh, far be it that I offend thee. We all know what happened to those that stood between the eyes and the prize, but I am a walking true definition of the dogma you now sell to me, am I not? He wore hair like wool. His mother was a slave. Ring any bells? Why does it even matter how I wear my hair? My own nerve extensions. So what mine isn't straight like yours? What do you know of my making? See, I am of this earth, molded perfectly in form and then breathed into spirit. I am nature walking this earth. Yes, I am a spiritual being. I walk the clouds among stars. So bury me in mud, camouflage my true heritage with slavery, I'll always come out shining bright still. A diamond that made it out the mud. For out of the pressure and strife, always comes a treasure alive that is glowing and singing, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And this little light of mine, I am gonna light this whole place with it. For who would light a lamp and put it in a bowl? Instead, you would put it on a mound that it may provide light to the whole world, like Bro said on the mount. You see, we are victims of ignorance, trying to right several generations of wrongs. The things I say here now, I will never testify to. I'll just make sure I bring to you testimonies from these depositions with my own conscience. And oh, I write to free my mind. I dig into the depths of my brain to unearth and unentangle these gold bars, so I may bring it onto your terrain of thought. I write to free my spirit. I keep sinking this bucket, fetcher, pulley, deep into my soul, our soul, the soul of this universe, to pull out these elating showers, that I may raise not only mine, but your spirits as well. See, I'm an overthinker. I would garner all the words we speak and those yet unspoken to make meaning of this whirl-windy world. Man in his field quest to find God now plays God, trying to reshape destinies and even climate patterns. Even now, someone is stealing the clouds from above your head to make rains for the people of the arid lands. Why do you smoke? Don't you think it's what fills your head with all this crap? The real question is, why don't you? See, the smoke is for the thinker. Just take a puff and let it scale up in your head and then blow it sky high. Just to be careful where you blow, for people own stakes in the air you breathe. No matter who wrote your history, Manama, Yas Antwa was of that bomb. Oh, and Shakespeare wrote part of your Bible. I might have lost mine. Not to worry though. I lost my mind on this particular piece. But I think we've all learned an important lesson here today, that there is no smoke without fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Tumani. And wrapping up the night for us is Jacob. So let's give him a round of applause.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So I'm just going to do something interesting. Just follow the rhythm. The Lamentations of an Ailing Saint. Possibility. After listening to this piece, you keep faith. My life has been a reflection of distortion. It's a cage of disorder and inordinate commotion. It feels and seems the meaning of my life is lost. It's quite evident that true essence has a cost. My life does not qualify any mitotic phase. I mostly sometimes think I've lost my father's grace, so I quietly sit down and hope for a brighter tomorrow. So I quietly calm down and watch some movies to drown away my sorrows. After graduating from the university with a first class in classics and philosophy, I could see my glorious future clearly until after my NSS things started to get blurry. Connections and networks that I built personally started to ignore and reject me suddenly. Or with every step and attempt I made consciously, it ended up a fiasco with no explanations vividly. It's been 12 years since I completely killed all my hopes of securing any work radically, and in the maze in the face of this irony, I look at my life and I could not reason logically. Sticks and rotten bones are what I see easily. Hopes of securing any job vacancy has dissipated an insinuation of wit, zeal, and tenacity, though I'm still hopeful and optimistic personally. The Lamentations of an Ailing Saint. Possibility. After listening to this piece, you keep faith. I used to be the star and the potential in the family until my sudden plight changed everything abruptly. I have become the ignored and hopeless personality no one thinks about ephemerally. My younger siblings and nieces who have excelled look upon me like an alien renegade, a rebel. You are a disgrace to the family and economy, they tell me while I sit and laugh at them sarcastically. However, psychologically and intrinsically, I bear no grudge with any individual or entity. I believe my current fate is not my doing spiritually, but rather a fiasco of my predecessors to secure for me a destiny. Standing on their shoulders to climb carefully would have been the best inheritance for them for posterity. However, they failed in that quest impeccably, and the effect of my failure is my life currently. The Lamentations of an Ailing Saint. Possibility. After listening to this piece, you keep faith. When it comes to my love likely, I've not been fortunate neutrally. The first girl who broke my heart was Marjorie, then it was followed by another girl called Valerie. The most loving and kind one was Emily. She had an unfine love for me organically. She was the one I thought I would love eternally until she left me with no reason rationally. True and true came by Felicity. She was an angel sent from heaven to me personally. Well, that's what I thought. So foolishly, until she unmarked a real face and identity. She deceived me and drew me easily, making away with all that I had, and believably, I led her on because I was in love with her blindly. She ended up turning my life mercilessly. So I need divine ascendancy. I require divine possibility to make up for my delayed life and hegemony, to make up for my stagnant hegemony. This is my honest prayer to the Lord Almighty. My life is backwards, so I need velocity. Oh Lord, hear my cry and do for me a miracle suddenly, for I know you are capable of changing things easily. So personally, interestingly, and enigmatically, I've come to realize something amazingly. It does not matter your open struggles or circumstances secretly. God, our Father, can turn things around abruptly. So to all my ailing saints, to all the youth who feel giving up, to all the saints who are giving up, it is my prayer that you do not lose your faith, for we serve a God who sees everything we do and will bring to you the blessings when the time is due. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can give one big round of applause for all our performers tonight. You've been a stellar audience. Thank you so much. This has been live across Africa, wrapping up the Peja Festival 2024. My name is Apioko Seramashong Abe, but please don't run away just yet. I'm about to invite Dr. Martinel Blogbe, co-director of the Writers Project Ghana, and of course, very ably leading this team for Peja so that he does a proper farewell. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Apioko. And I hope you did enjoy the performances put up by all the poets and writers. Once again, for the 8th time, I am standing here to bid farewell to our guests. I must say that when in 2017 we had the first edition, we were trying an experiment. We had no idea where it would lead us. I am very happy that we've survived up to this time. There have been ups and downs, but we still keep barreling on. I must acknowledge at this point in time that we've not come this far by our own powers alone. We have been buoyed up by a lot of friendly support. And I would like to acknowledge for this year the support of the European delegation to Ghana. We've had also the Irish Embassy in Nigeria, and I must acknowledge Peter Ryan, the Irish ambassador. He is here with us, with a delegation from Ireland and Nigeria, represented by Dagogo Hart and Aduke Gomez. We acknowledge also support from the British Council, which supported the Publishers Roundtable, at which a report on publishing in Africa was presented. But one of the things that I'm happy about this year is that we begin to see corporate Ghana incrementally beginning to support us. And so I'd like to acknowledge Kimo Ghana Limited and Vidya Bookstores, who also lent us support. Most of all, I would like to acknowledge the Ghanaian literary community, because one of the things which makes Peja special is the contribution of writers locally. And you've seen Apioko. Apioko has been a part of this festival in a big way since the beginning, but it's because of her love for Ghanaian literature that she does all this. And for people like that, I would like us to acknowledge them specially. And then, of course, what would we do without the audience, the people who attend the festival? I mean, this place would be dead without you. Thank you so much for coming. Yes. And as we begin to say bye-bye for another 365 days, I would like to welcome my co-director of the Writers Project of Ghana, Mamle Kabo, to come. We've had this year several writers coming to join us. I have already mentioned from Ireland and then from Nigeria, Aduke Gomez and Dagogo Hart. We have had someone from Uganda for the second time, I think, but I believe that he's tired and gone off to town to, well, I think he's tired and gone back to his hotel. But Dagogo had, Isabiri Mitch joined us from Uganda. I'd like to acknowledge him. We've had our usual friends from Nigeria. I see right in front of me, Amara Chukwuchimeka of Purple Shelves. And we have our Togolese delegation, but I think they've also so we've had Patron Heneku and Arituka Esuminam. I think I have mentioned his name correctly. Of course, I mean, being here on the final day, I can allow myself a joke or two. Because I'm sure there are others in the crowd, but Mamle's sharper eyes will pick them out. Mamle.
Well, before we continue with our visitors, I want to acknowledge our other WPG stalwarts, Elizabeth Johnson, Nana Yao, Sapong, Bernard Akre Jackson, who else am I leaving out? And our army of volunteers who are the backbone of the festival. This year, I've been so pleased to see several of them present at Peja in their own rights as writers. Our volunteers are professional people, they're parents, they're very busy people. They have a passion for writing and for the literary and arts world, and they put in so much work that we could not do without, and we are so grateful and we're so proud that they work with us. Yeah.